All right, we are here for the 77th episode of the
Let's go.
podcast.
Not
Very
bad.
good, Sholom. Stepping
good.
in for Avi, who had an emergency, will be joining soon. This is a victory podcast, the best type of podcast. We have the star quarterback, Sruli Dachs, the star quarterback for the first two games until he was fired, Sholom Praeger, which we'll get into. There's a lot of drama surrounding that, I heard. And then we have two-way HSL star Moshe bases clearing Zinn, who they're starting to call Zinn Island, because during that championship game, any ball within I was going to say 5 yards of
yards.
it. Yeah, exactly. It was getting picked off. And then we have the king of football, who put together an amazing event. I'm on such a high from yesterday. I thought, even though I was basically picking up trash for half the day, it was just such an amazing thing to see. Jonas and Lowinger. So let's just get started with Jonas. What did you think of yesterday?
Listen, I can only judge based on players' feedback, but I thought it was a huge success. I mean, obviously, I'm going to be talking to three guys right now who will say good things because they won, but I think players really enjoyed it. From speaking to a lot of people, I mean, I feel bad for the guys who got injured, which was a few, and I feel bad for the guys who got knocked out early, obviously. But, even the guys who got knocked out early, some of those guys, it fuels them more to want to come back next year because they see guys who won, they see the success, they see the joy, the trophies, and that makes them also want to come back more. And I really think as a whole, it was successful. We raised a lot of money for Tzedakah, Baruch Hashem, and, that's really the main purpose. And from the football side of things, the games were great. And I think that's all we can ask for. And the weather, Baruch Hashem, weather turned out awesome also. So, awesome, successful day, Baruch Hashem.
All right, so who should we start with? How does it feel to be champions?
It's amazing. First of all, the tournament turned out really fantastic. I wasn't sure how the day was gonna turn out, just from a structure standpoint, because again, football's a hard sport. So to do a full day tournament and to be able to last a full day, could be something very daunting. But it turned out really well. Maybe because I didn't play the first game and a half, but overall, that part of it really was fantastic. And the turnout, I happen to feel like was really good. I've been playing in football leagues for maybe 10, 11 years now. I played 1 year in the Lakewood League. I played 2 years in the Muncie League, obviously the Five Towns Leagues. And I was seeing guys who I played with over those times, and they all showed up for the tournament. The games were fantastic. So to come out with a victory with all these guys there was really special.
Yeah, but on that note of the playing 5 games in a row, so Sholom, you play a little bit, and Sruli, you only quartered for 4 games. But the question is, Moshe, are you sore? Are you able to move today?
Yeah. No, there's a reason I'm working from home today. I can't really move much. I had a lot of bruises and very interesting places all over the place. Never muscles that you don't even know existed are hurting today. But yeah, no, it's just a fun day, a full, and we got a bye, so you can't really. Right. We only played 4 games and stuff. Can't even speak for the people that played 5 games. Just
I do want to try to remove that next year. I don't think the bye, even for you guys, obviously it's good you had the bye, so you get to skip a game, but I don't think anyone really wants to be sitting there. You guys are competitors. You guys are not scared. You guys would rather play another game, So I want to try to get rid of that next year no matter what.
Sruli, I didn't follow something you said about the
for sure. There's no doubt. I was not 100% yesterday. I was sick for the whole week last week, and then I was at very low energy, and that bye definitely helped us out for sure. Yeah, I don't know if I've been able to last the whole day if not for that bye.
Zinn is flexing. Zinn is this is me at 40%. This is Sruli, what did you mean about the turnout? I didn't follow what you were saying before.
Meaning I didn't know exactly who was going to show up for this tournament. And when I showed up and I saw, Kiffel's team, who I played in the Muncie League against, Charlie Cohen, all these guys, and these Lakewood guys who I've seen play, Siegel, it was fun that everyone really turned out and showed up, which really made it a really special, awesome tournament. At this point, there's really nobody that could say that they, kind of didn't show up. We felt like we were able to face off against some of the best teams in these other leagues, really put to test, we only get to play really whoever shows up in the Five Towns League. So to be able to see how we match up and level up against these other really good teams from other leagues, was just awesome and a lot of fun.
It's funny you mentioned that. Do you know Adam Offman, Sruli, from the Five Towns?
I know him since I'm 10.
Okay, so he watched. He was texting me. He was watching. He texted me at 2:00 Thursday night, And he's like, I just watch his podcast with these Muncie clowns. Wait till they go up against the Five Towns boys. And so I said, oh, you're pretty vindicated. I texted him, like, I remembered at like 10 o'clock last night. I was so dead tired. I'm like, oh, Adam, you were right.
Yeah, but listen, Adam, trust me, I've seen him in baseball, but like, I'm not letting him just talk the talk unless he walks the walk. He's got to come play in the tournament next year. If he wants to say he's good at football and he can beat these guys, he's got to bring a team. He's got to show up.
I agree.
I used to play with Adam in the Tuesday night league. We had a very, very good team, but he texted us on a group chat also, our Jew ball chat, that he was pretty proud of taking out all these other teams, all these other leagues. And,
we'll see if we
stand in our ground.
I got a lot of texts from a lot of teams with all their excuses of missing this guy and other guys who didn't play in the tournament. Next year we'll play in the tournament, we'll beat them. But what I tell them is right now that you guys have the crown. It's your
and we have Bob Robinson locked up. Yitzy Rosen thinks he's gonna pull him next year again, but no, he's locked up on our team. I was up in the blue jersey all day.
That's funny. You're gonna have to fight with Avrami Zagabon for Bob Robinson next year. That's the real fight.
Yeah, he'll have another excuse not to come.
Sholom, what's the Jew ball?
You guys have it for a full year. That's it. No one can take it away from you. It's the Five Towns title right now. It's your team. That's
right.
Sholom, what's the Jew ball chat?
The Jew ball chat is, and shout out to Jordan Hiller, who Dave, you probably know him. It's a
great guy,
of the greatest football players and greatest characters probably in the world at this point. But we have a Sunday morning pickup league every Sunday morning, basically from Sukkot till Purim or Pesach, depending on how the year falls out. And it's just incredible. I mean, it's just an incredible group of guys. We all, Zinn's a part of it, Dachs is a part of it. And it's legit awesome. I mean, it's taken up a huge portion of the last 7 years of my life since I joined. But it's the benefits and just the incredible games that we have, talent, all that stuff. It's awesome.
So, Sholom, what position do you play?
Why our team is really like where we were. Our team really only started about 2 years ago. The squad that we have, but we played so much football together between Tuesday night and Sunday morning. We've been playing for 3 years now. It's just like I've played with so many of these guys in different roles, and we just have this amazing chemistry with each other. It definitely helped and
huge benefit.
Gave us the edge over a lot of other teams.
We play probably 50 games of football a year.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm jealous. I'm jealous. It's crazy. Like I play in 2 leagues and it's not even as much as that. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty amazing. So I guess it's interesting because in the podcast we did Thursday night, we were talking about the most talented teams. First of all, Yonason, did we even consider Zinn's team? Did they even come up?
Absolutely, but they were hating on them. They felt that
we were underdogs. Power rankings, they had us at number 7 in Tier 1. Just saying.
Who had you at 7?
He's joking.
And Yonason, I'm surprised, by the way, because you got a little taste of us a couple weeks ago. You saw.
Oh, no, I was impressed.
Those guys.
Well, Sruli, you were slinging 2 weeks ago. You
and we still were on the bottom of the power.
Yeah, no, for sure. No, yeah. I was wrong. I stand corrected. Yeah.
Right.
Sholom, what position do you play? So you were quarterback, then you got benched. Where are you on this roster? You seem
By the way, Dave, it's a big controversy right now. Who should be starting quarterback for their team? It's a big fight between Sruli and Sholom right now.
Apparently good enough friends to come on together. So the beef, this isn't A-Rod Jeter level beef,
It's not beef. It's Sruli's team. Sruli built this team.
I was more of a guest for this tournament, so I don't play with these guys as often on Tuesday nights. Every so often here and there when they need a guy. I have my own team, which we're not particularly great, but I don't play quarterback in that team. But Sunday mornings, I play quarterback. That's my spot. That's my position. We actually just won the championship Sunday mornings. But Tuesday nights, I play receiver, corner, safety, little D-line whenever I can. So I just
man of many talents.
Jack of all trades on Tuesday nights. That's been my...
Just one comment on that. I just want to say Roll Tide's better than Bob, and that's just going to go down in history books right now.
Dave, and Jonathan, what's your take? A team went 7-1 versus a team that went 8-0. Who's the better team?
It's 8-0. That's just how it is.
But the squad was the squad that won this championship.
Well, minus Yoni and DK. All right. We'll have this fight a different time.
By the way,
let us into the inside. What's the Roll Tide and Bop thing?
Really could speak on that.
Are we really getting into it?
It's a Sunday morning thing?
It's Sunday morning. It's a whole different world Sunday morning, because Sunday morning they have a draft. Teams, you can't just go and bring a team to that league. So every year it's like a whole different team. which kind of makes it more balanced and competitive. But our first year that we joined, me, Zinn, my brother, a few other guys, all the guys who were playing didn't really know us, so I was able to kind of draft everybody that I knew was really good that they didn't know yet about. So we had a stack team and we just plowed through.
It was rigged. It was a rigged draft.
It wasn't rigged. Do your scouting. And so and then the next year, so we lost one game because half our team wasn't there that game.
First game of the season also.
Yeah, first game. We plowed everybody, won the championship. And then the next year, Praeger, obviously the teams were a little bit different. And then, he went on a nice run. Didn't lose a game, but
a nice run, didn't lose a game. Wow.
There's winning and there's dominating.
Years, these records. I didn't realize.
Yeah.
So one second, it's pickup football, but it seems pretty well organized if you have records and winning.
It's
Sholom, it's hard to explain, but basically half the weeks are pickup, and then I should say 2/3 of the weeks are pickup, and then another third we split into the drafted teams that we draft out.
And then you have refs for those games?
No, we don't have refs. No, everything's self-refed.
So David, those games the quarterback gets hit. I come home limping because
we play a little bit more violently.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Okay, got it. So what went into the decision for Sholom to play 2 games and then Sruli to step in?
So I knew I had to come late because I had to take care of something in the morning. So happened to be even beforehand. We wanted Sholom on the roster just because his versatility, he could play so many different positions.
He's also a pretty face. He's got the blonde hair, He's good to have around.
He looks like Trevor Lawrence.
He does.
Yes. So we wanted him on the team already beforehand just to have some versatility, just because we wanted to come with a lot of guys. But it ended up working out well once I knew I wasn't able to make it for that first game. He came in, took care of business. And then even after that, Sholom played, defense, D-line, receiver, and was just, a great asset for us the whole day.
There's awards given out. I just want to say, I feel like you guys are a little bit snubbed because the awards.
Yes, Sholom told me this at halftime. He was really pissed off.
You gave out the awards after a half a game.
It's the only way we can do it because no one's there and it doesn't matter. But the truth is, and you guys had a bye, so you guys did a less game to whatever.
True.
But the truth is, if the awards were given out at the end, it's really you're likely MVP and Moshe gets Offensive Player of the Day for sure. Or MVP or something.
Give Morty the MVP.
Morty's like the finals MVP, because he had that catch. He would get finals MVP,
Yes.
I think the awards need to be rethought for next year. I agree.
Dave, we'll do it differently next year. Maybe we'll also have a finals MVP next year.
Yeah, maybe. I might even do away with the regular season awards. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see. A lot to talk about, a lot to discuss, a lot to change, scheduling things. We'll learn from the mistakes. We'll speak to the players' feedback. We'll see. We want to make it better every year. We want guys to,
So Moshe, you play offense and defense, right?
Yeah, as much as I was able to.
So I only caught some of your defensive prowess. Which side would you say you're stronger on?
Definitely stronger receiver. Route running. That's kind of where I've always been, and I play defense like a receiver. I just go and track the ball. That's kind of.
So you're good at safety. Just
right. Play safety.
It was actually funny. A friend of mine was watching the championship game, and he said he's the only game he saw that day. He's like, everyone's just launching deep balls over here. It's that championship game was just a bunch of deep shots.
Yeah, why was that? I noticed that also. Why was that?
Well, that's Sruli. A question for Sruli. It's why were you taking so many shots? Why was Siegel taking so many shots? Chop, I don't know.
Because it comes down to the way the defenses are playing against us. Those deep posts were open, especially against a 3-1 type of defense. You want to take those shots.
For sure.
But, we tried testing Lieberman. He was fantastic on Zinn. Mm-hmm. Took probably one too many shots there. But, if you look at our last drive of the game, we got the ball back, I think, 1:20 left. There wasn't panic. We didn't just take 4 deep shots, try to get downfield. We drove. Ended up being a crazy last play of the game. But I think we took, 7-yard out route, little curl, little run, put us in position, and then we.
So can I interrupt you for a second? I was trying to understand that last drive. I'm not a big football guy. You guys kept doing sideline stuff to stop the clock. I said this. I said, how much time is left? And Sam Rubenstein was 57 seconds. I'm like, why do you need to keep stopping the clock? In the NFL, that's a lot of time. And don't want to give the other. He's like, no, 50 seconds. It's no time at all. So I was trying to figure out why you guys needed to keep stopping the clock. And in fact, not only you give them another opportunity, with 30-something seconds on the clock. So I was wondering if that was a mistaken strategy or there's something I'm missing.
Dave, this is why Sholom might come in at QB. He's a better clock manager. This is part of the controversy.
I was like the Taysom Hill yesterday. I came in when we needed 2 yards. run the
You're a
football.
fantasy football
Get
guy.
it.
You're a fantasy guy. Everyone's
Exactly.
Now, I'll speak to that. One thing happens to be normally when we get the ball back in our leagues with a minute 20 left, we're not like these fields were much shorter. Normally, if we're starting at the 10-yard line, we need to go 65, 70 yards.
Mm-hmm.
So you're thinking always, anytime you have a chance to stop the clock, you need to stop the clock because you have a long way to go. Happens to be, we weren't so used to the field. It was a very short field. So yeah, we probably.
So my instincts were right on that.
Yeah, no, you were, but even after all that, we only let them with 30. With only 30 seconds left, which again is a lot of time. But it's not like we left like a minute and a half for them.
How many yards were these fields, Yonasan?
We would go by the width, so that's about 53.5, I guess.
And how many is it in these local leagues?
No, just in the 5 towns league, they play it's like 80 yards. It's the longest field. It's like 75. They have the longest fields.
So that's a huge adjustment you guys had to make for this. I didn't know that was a part of the game.
No, it was very different. And also, I spoke to Yonasan about this. The end zones are tiny.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're way too small.
It's how our lines are set up. We have no choice. If you play on the width, your end zones are 7 yards instead of 10 yards.
Right, but I happen to see in Lakewood League, I think also is like that, and Muncie also tiny end zones.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The length, meaning they extend. How many yards long is our end zone?
It was like
It's about
5
7
yards.
yards, that's it.
I don't even know if it was 7 yards.
And it should be like 20.
No. It should be. It'll be 10. It'll be 10 yards.
Yeah.
But that's
10
a big
yards.
difference. That's a big difference.
Got it.
But yeah, listen, Sruli, you didn't seem to have such a problem. You guys are doing fine with the scoring.
I want to welcome to the podcast HSL Commissioner Avi Edelman, who doesn't usually miss a podcast, but he had an emergency. So welcome, Avi. What did you think of yesterday's festivities?
Are you able to hear me, first of all?
A little bit.
Really? It's still bad?
Yes.
It's still bad?
Avi, we can't hear you.
Can't hear me?
I could hear you, Avi, just not well.
Is it as low as it usually is? Is that headphones?
I think your headphone might not be plugged in.
It is. It's not working.
Guys, what did I tell you? Always tech issues, right?
Wait, you really can't hear me at all?
A little
Very
bit.
low. Very low, Avi. Really, it's not very low.
Okay, can you hear me now better?
Worse.
Worse? Gosh. Alright, I'm gonna go back in on my
While he's figuring out his audio issues, I'll speak to the end zone thing. It made the defense a lot easier for like our game planning. Usually, like when you get to the red zone, you're playing this like a lot of teams play this 4-cross zone, or you're playing some sort of mix of that, like a diamond sometimes. And here you're able to just play 4 straight across, and you could guard the front and the back of the end zone no problem. Whereas when in like the 5 towns league, where it's much easier to sneak people behind and get
No. Moshe, I did that game 1
also.
also.
Gone.
It's a great call. Game 1, I realized that too. 4-cross works really well in these end zones because they're smaller. Doesn't work
So
in 5 towns.
you
That's
can't-
the whole day was keep everything short. We only let up 1 deep ball the entire day. Nothing really got behind us, and everything was just they made teams march. That's like we only let up 30 points the entire day because we let teams get to the red zone, but couldn't punch it in.
Right. Defending the red zone is so much easier when you have, this kind of setup. That's why there wasn't like this panic to take away anything. Like let them get down the field and then you hold them down there, even 2-3 plays, because it's so easy to guard. It was actually a great strategy by the defense.
It's even with once you cross midfield, you only have 4 plays.
Yeah,
So
and
if you get an
the
inch over the
first
first
down
down
moving
marker,
is also
you have
huge.
4 plays now to punch it in. If you can't,
I'm
do it,
better
you
now.
do it.
I'll tell you the
I'm better
truth.
now.
If I saw there was very little scoring, that it would be something I'd consider like we have to change for next year. But teams were scoring as a whole. All the teams, tier 1 or tier 2, were scoring plenty of points. Actually, if you look at the tier 2 championships, they won they scored 40 points in the championship game.
Well, maybe they're going to study now Gordon Company's strategy. They're studying game tape. Dave Levinger is selling the game tape to teams who really want to win, and they're going to
that tier
His
2
footage is
that
insane.
that tier 2 team. You guys hear me, right?
Yeah, we hear you.
All right. My laptop's messed up, and when I did the podcast for myself like last week,
It worked,
with these headphones, it worked perfectly. I don't know what happened. Anyways, that tier 2 team, you understand, if they have Yossi Levinger on their team as a regular, they may not win tier 1. They probably won't, but they have no business being in tier 2. It was just stupid.
Do you understand
I
the
was-
problem, Robbie? I had another tier 2 team, your cousin. They wanted to be in tier 1. So imagine I move them, but not moving Kurtz. So then they would get upset also. So then I can't move both of them because then we don't have a tier 2. So
Right.
it was a problem.
Right. Okay. I was watching that game. I was trying to get they're killing me all day for favoring tier 1 with the highlights. I tried giving them some highlights. The game was 28-0 in the first 7 minutes. Like it was out of control.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a blowout. Yeah, maybe next year they'll be in Tier 1. That's it. We'll have to switch them over. You guys all have a new competition, 5 towns versus 5 towns.
I was surprised. I really wanted to play those guys. Like, we play Levy and Kurtz and Gamza,
sure.
all these kids. They're so much fun to play against. That's why I was a little bummed out when I heard they were in Tier 2. I was like, you guys aren't Tier 2.
It's really, they wanted their trophies too, you know?
Yeah, all right.
I have a question. I don't know if this is asked yet. How much did I miss? 20 minutes, 25, 15? Do you guys start late or you start?
I can tell you exactly. We're up to minute 21.
Okay, so I didn't miss too much. My question is, I think I might have asked this. Have you guys played against the Muncie, Eliezer Kiffel, Jonas and Lohinger team before, ever? Like, ever crossed paths? Or was this the first time you guys played each other totally in the dark, like never actually playing but only hearing?
Well,
I could speak for that to start. I joined the Muncie League this year. Yitzi Rosen recruited me to play with them, and I played them in the regular season. I kind of knew their strategies a little bit. I knew how they played defense for sure, so that was definitely an advantage. I knew they like to use the tight end. I was surprised how little they used their tight end on Sunday versus us.
Who's their tight end?
It's Topper. It's because it's a Topper Dachs thing. There's Topper Dachs beef. They don't want to use him too much. It's part of the whole.
But I don't think it played too much of an advantage for either of us. Like they played versus me. I think it was more just we brought our A game yesterday and we really just wanted it more, honestly.
I don't mean I was thinking about it, and usually when a team wants it more, usually they end up winning, right? They usually want it more. Usually like it was a battle, but this team wanted it more, so they won. Like you guys absolutely obliterated them twice, and I know Jonas and Lohinger is like the best defensive player in the world, but like unless Jonas makes that big of a difference, like it wasn't even a competition. Like it was almost as if it was a Tier 1 team playing Tier 2. That's how lopsided. Not just one game, but two. Not just one half. Not just one game, but 2 games worth. So I'm just curious. Like I don't know. I mean, Jonas told me after he said they just had a bad day. I know Jonas' team almost beat them also, and they pulled one out of I don't know where, and they had a crazy comeback to beat them. But
it's crazy how we lost.
But like I don't know. I'm just a little bit confused because I'm hearing such. And I see, I guess, a little bit the potential, but like it didn't look like competition. It didn't look like you guys were on an even playing field when you were playing. It looked like it was just like maybe not a Tier 1, Tier 2, but it was totally lopsided at both games. I'm just curious, like if that was.
I think it came down to the D line just completely wrecking their offense from the start, and then we kind of just answered in every drive. We were just clicking on offense on all cylinders, and our defense just showed up like big time for them.
Like eventually, it gets to the point where it's not just like, oh, they had a good day, they had a bad day. It's just like the talent just is too good.
Listen, as someone who's part of their team, I'll have to give them the benefit of the doubt and be like, these are my boys. They'll come back stronger next year. Maybe I'll play for them next year. I was missing. Dov Gottlieb was missing. But as someone who's a part of this tournament, I'm going to give the credit to you guys. You guys just outplayed them straight up. 2 games, outplayed them, got your wins, and just were the better team yesterday for sure, no doubt. Got to give credit where credit's due.
Yeah.
I have a question for you, Sruli. You're on a high, obviously, so this might be a little offensive, but you could definitely take it today. I mean, there's like 3 videos of you in slow motion performing heroics. Are you, and I could say this as a small person, are you small for a quarterback?
I'm small for a person. Like, I'm just a small guy, but I don't know. It doesn't really affect me so much because we're not dealing with 6'7" linemen and a 5-man front. So there's ways to work around it. Obviously, it would help if I was 6'1", 6'2", for sure. But I really don't feel like it has an effect on me. You take a couple steps back, you can roll out of the pocket, especially by being mobile. You can find the lanes. Yeah, do balls get batted once in a while? Yeah, but it's not like thinking about a 5'8" quarterback in the NFL who is a real struggle. It's flag football. We're all Jewish here.
Right.
There's no.
So here's my question. I listen. Moshe's family, I know he wins. They're all super happy for him. Sholom, I don't know your family personally. The Dachs is a bunch of boys' families. Are your brothers really happy for you? Actually,
they actually sounded happy yesterday.
No, they're not.
I think it's more. I don't think.
No, they're not.
Well, Morty is.
Morty's happy. Obviously.
He hasn't stopped smiling. He's still smiling right now.
They were trying to get the uncensored version of that video. I don't know if it's being released.
We saw it. You don't want to see it.
Dave said you got to subscribe. You said subscribe to him for that one.
I asked Morty. He said it's subscriber only. I don't know what the cost is.
You subscribed, didn't you?
Dave.
So in that video, I brought up your size because in that video, I'm still like understanding the sport of football, and obviously you have your big guy as your O lineman, and then you have these other guys coming after you, and it was just interesting to see those four larger guys with you in contrast to them, and it's just it was just interesting to watch. You're scrambling from these lions coming after you, and then you get off that throw, which was unbelievable.
Yes, really, that throw is like the coolest part of that video, by the way.
Yeah, a little lucky. Definitely a little lucky, but I knew it, obviously at that point, only thing I'm thinking at that point, like
better lucky than good.
Our original play, nobody was open, and I'm like, okay, I don't know what to do. And then I saw, and I was about to get sacked. I twisted, and I was like, I just need to get it up to the end zone for a prayer. And then somehow, some way, Morty came down with the ball. I still don't know because he has never jumped that high in his life, but he was possessed, and he went up there, and he just got it, came down with it, and it was amazing.
I was gonna ask really a two-part question on that actually. Did you guys draw up a legitimate play, or was it just a bunch of go routes that you were just gonna find someone? And if you did draw up a play, I'm curious what the play was. And B, when you threw that ball, you basically threw it basically turned around. Did you see Morty and Moshe in that vicinity and you decided to throw it there, or you just threw it up in the air?
I just wanted to get to the end zone. I had no clue where anybody was. We did have a legit play called. The exact play.
Crossing post, is that what it was?
It was, yeah, we tried to get somebody to the back of the end zone, somebody to the front. We had a curl option. There was 3 legitimate options. Because of their zone, there was nothing there. And at that point, it's just can't take a sack. Sack, game over, tournament over. I'm like, just get the ball up and hope for a miracle. And then you try to put the ball up as high as you can so the receivers can find it, locate it, and potentially get make a play on it. The same way you see like Aaron Rodgers, like his Hail Marys are just super high up. And if you're watching the receivers all during that time, it gives them a chance to kind of locate it, position themselves to even attempt to make a play. And it just happened. It was crazy.
Sruli, what was your heart rate on the defensive drive, the next drive, with the 50 seconds left?
I know, I couldn't watch.
Yeah, it's funny. Everyone's talking about that offensive heroics. There was, especially for Ellie Siegel and this Lakewood team that just dominates on the offensive side. Yeah. Like 35 seconds is incredible. And you saw their first 2 plays, they were 30 yards from the end zone. Yeah. Like it's an incredible amount of time.
Yeah, we spoke about it a little earlier. We did probably leave a little bit too much time on the clock, but our defense was so rock solid the whole game. We were just confident at any point. 30 seconds is not 2 minutes, but they were able to get pretty close. But defense, like they did all day,
not close enough.
Yeah, shut the door.
Yeah, one thing, one little storybook. I guess not storybook, but one thing that will go a little bit left until hopefully next season is. One of the biggest, how should I say this? This Lakewood team that is very, very talented. We're missing one of their biggest and best pieces. Mm-hmm. And I were to assume if you would ask them, there are actually a couple people chirping on the sideline who I think from Lakewood. I don't know if they came from Lakewood to watch, or maybe they just know Ellie Siegel and know the guys. I forgot his name, Jonas. What's his name? Who wasn't playing?
Moshe Shook and also Simcha.
So Moshe Shook was the name I was hearing. People were murmuring on the sideline that if Shook's playing on that Ellie Siegel team, it's not even close. They absolutely will just not only destroy you guys, but destroy everyone in the tournament. So I guess there's still a little bit of that going into.
Let them come back next year. They'll have another opportunity.
No, correct. I'm
just saying from the standpoint of what could have been, but at the end of the day, they didn't win. So let them talk.
No, I know. I think no. I do think they'll take it on the chin and say we lost. However, from what I was hearing, they said like if they could basically be 42nd away from beating you guys without him, like they would literally blow you guys out. Like
the way I see it is Moshe's team could have had Shai Feintuch. He just got married. They almost had Gav Robinson, So next year Siegel's team will come back. They'll bring some better guys. They're full squad. You guys will load up again, and we'll see what actually happens. Everyone restocks, brings in new players, tries to get better. And
it really could not have worked out better in the sense that besides for the ending was so dramatic and was literally like almost vintage Eli Manning from 2007. Besides for that, like just like the game within a game, all the talk about, Lakewood and Ellie Siegel's dominance and Muncie and Five Towns, and then coming to the end where not only the players are going battling, but then you got if you want to even get in more specifics, you got Dom DeRosa, like the king of the Five Towns when it comes to officiating. And then I forget what's his name from Lakewood.
I don't remember his name, but he's the Lakewood ref. Yeah,
he's like the LBA baseball ref, and in LBA they have like 28 teams there. He's like the king of reffing in Lakewood. It's just fun to see it all come together in that final game. It's like, because I saw Ali Seal going over and he kept on referring to him by his first name. And I'm like, I asked
He was
Ellie,
paying him
I'm
good
like,
money, Avi.
no. So I asked Elliot, I'm like, how do you, I'm like, you just met him now? He's like, no, what are you talking about? He's like, oh, that's right. I was, that's a good point. I recognize him a little bit. It's just funny how that all came together at the end. Funny and also awesome.
Yeah.
It was a little weird that they didn't have their supposed greatest quarterback ever in the world play the entire game. I mean, obviously we had two quarterbacks, but when Sruli came, I sat down. I knew Sruli was taking over. They switched off drives. It
was very cute.
If you wanted to win the game, don't play games with your
So
own
there's really two ways you can go with that, and I'll spell it both ways. Way number one, which I think is the innocent way and the less controversial way, is that Ellie decided to play last second as he usually does. He showed up the morning of. They already had a quarterback, so he didn't want to totally kick him out. So they said, let's switch off drives. Way number two, and the more controversial way, which may be true as well, is maybe they just felt like they could win without Ellie being regular quarterback. Maybe they felt like they could take the foot off the gas a little bit.
Those guys are Ellie's squad, but listen, they knew once they brought Chaim Chop down, and Chaim Chop is very solid in his own right, that they had to give Chaim his playing time. But Ellie's their guy. And next year I hope to have Chaim Chop and Ellie, maybe two separate teams. Chaim Chop will maybe bring a team, Ellie Siegel will bring his team, and as many talented teams as possible.
Zinn, so you're a premium defensive player. What did you think of the opposing squad in the championship, in the Super Bowl, whatever we call it?
I thought they brought it. They took too many shots. Like, we knew that was kind of like the scouting report going in. Let's just give them everything under, because they're going to get antsy and try to hit it over the top. I think we picked them off 2 times on just deep balls. So that would be like the only thing I would say. But like, they were good, great, solid, everything squad. Their designs were great. They had a lot of pick plays, and they used the tight end in like great situations, like when they knew we weren't really keeping an eye on them. And they were overall just really well. We just executed one more extra point, and then that's really what it came down to.
Really hard fought game, very tight, hard fought game. What's the strategy of letting them have everything underneath?
That goes back to the tight end zones, where we feel like once the field kind of shrinks down and there's just a lot more congestion there, it's a big advantage for the defense. That was just kind of.
So, Yonason, would you consider for next year, especially once you're down to the finals and maybe even for the playoffs, operating on the lengths of the fields, totally remaking the fields?
This year, actually, that was the plan. It was supposed to be for this year to move the field for the championship game to play on the length, just for the championships. We didn't end up doing it, but that was the plan. Maybe something to consider again for next year.
What happened?
We were going to move the fields just for the championship
game.
Yeah,
why didn't you?
Why didn't we?
A lot of moving parts.
Everyone was kind of happy with the way things were going. We spoke to a few guys.
People wanted to get going. People were antsy. They wanted to play. Like, it would have taken more time. It would have just dragged the whole thing.
Because potentially what you could have during lunch, because there were only 4 games at a time after lunch. During lunch, you have the refs reset up the fields, and you could use the soccer field and the football field.
Yes, then we could have done both. But we wanted to get everything on one field at the end. It's much more geschmack that way. Everyone's right next to each other. But yeah, Dave's right. Theoretically, we could have done half and half on each field.
All right. Any subjects we didn't cover? I think we got to wrap. What's that? What's that?
17-minute half, you're playing the length, because we're getting an extra first down. That's another 4 downs. So you're going to get like maybe 1 or 2 drives per team per half. Whereas if you're playing the length, like 17 minutes was honestly fine. Like, it went quick, but like we each got a good amount of possessions.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm also wondering about the end zone issue in particular.
I think you can just move it back. I don't know why you have to play by the yellow line. Just move it back.
It's harder because then there's no exact line. It's harder to do reffing, but you could. You're right. You just put cones there.
You could put down a line. What are you talking about, Jonas? You could put down a line.
What do you mean by put down a line, Dave?
I don't know what I mean, but the amount of problem solving we did in the last 3 weeks to figure out how to paint a yellow line onto a field in an hour, I think we could have got it done.
But yeah, we could destroy more park property. You're right, Dave. Once we were at it,
Whoa.
Just play the length and just play the 50 yards, and
we don't know where this podcast is going on this time. We didn't.
Dave, are we allowed to say that publicly?
There has been no park property destroyed. That was a funny joke that Jonason just said.
Sorry.
Anyways.
The amount of problems that people don't realize, like the parks canceled the porta potties on us on like Wednesday for some reason. So we had to like find people to deliver porta potties, and then when's the park open? It's like there's so much problem solving that goes into an event like this. Amazingly, Cobra Rentals, Yossi Orlansky, Hasidic guy told me it's not my first rodeo. I don't know. I don't have the Hasidic accent, but he got to roll with the punches, So like any problem that came up, he was right there to solve it. Roll with the punches. That's what he said.
Huge success, yeah.
Huge success. Unbelievable. He was amazing. Oh, and Avi, we found out today that Sruli works for a payroll company, so you might want to hit them up afterward.
HSL sponsor. We're already looking for fall basketball.
Any closing?
Next year tournament team. Sruli's company's going to sponsor him. He's a big star right now.
Oh, I had a question for all you guys. So watching, I'm a softball guy. Being surrounded by football for like 7-8 hours yesterday. Football, obviously better athletes than softball. I hope none of the softball people come at me, but I don't even think it's in the same category personally.
Is this going to be a poll on the chat?
I'm going to put a poll in the community after this because I'm not sure I necessarily agree with that. But anyways, go ahead.
Oh, okay. So maybe I'll clip it. But I'm a softball guy. Where does basketball and football rank?
Athleticism? I say football. Moshe?
It's no shot.
I've always avoided playing basketball because I feel like people that play basketball are always the ones that get hurt. So I've really never gotten involved in basketball, so I can't speak to that. I think football, like, definitely stamina and being able to just bounce off, like, hit after hit and getting knocked down, and like that doesn't really happen in basketball. Basketball, you get touched, you get fouled, you get to the line.
Boy, that's controversial.
Football's not like that. Football, you got to earn everything.
It's actually funny. I was watching yesterday, and football is a very slow-paced sport. I'm not saying that to exaggerate. It's very slow-paced. Like, you're talking, unless you're really rushing, you're talking a solid 15 to 25, 30 seconds in between each play. There's a lot of standing around. I'm not trying to.
When you're in the huddle, it's a lot quicker than that. I promise.
Okay, it could be.
Field, it moves quickly.
I could be. I'm just saying there's a pitch in softball being thrown a lot more consistently than there is a snap in football.
Depends who the pitcher is, but yeah.
But for the most part, I'm not saying football is not a more athletic sport than softball.
Sholom, what do you say?
I say softball doesn't enter the conversation. To be honest, softball, there's no athleticism needed. Basketball, basketball. If your cardio is up, that's really what it comes down to. There's no physicality like football. It's a totally different element. The chest. I will say
before the playoffs even started, we had 3 broken noses and a partially torn ACL. So
there you go.
I have never seen such gory. The amount of blood. The amount of blood that I saw, we had broken hand, partially torn ACL, and 3 broken noses.
You're making me nervous, Abby. We only had $1 million in insurance from.
Might need more insurance next year.
How does it work? Does that on the player? Because we signed up for insurance, $1 million for 145 players. If every player puts in a claim, like, does that mean we have 145 million in insurance, or it's cumulative for each player's injury? I don't know.
For one suit, they'll make
do we get compensation for bruises?
Try.
If you sue, right? I was gonna say you should sue us and see how much money you can get out of us.
By the way, they are Gordon companies. Our insurance firm is your team.
Oh yeah, good luck suing your sponsor, boys. All right. So, any closing thoughts? I thought this was really fun. Congrats to you guys. Anybody have your trophies in? I see a trophy in your background, but I don't think that's the.
My trophy's over here. I got it.
Can we get a view of it for our audience, or you're too bruised? Are you too bruised to get it?
I'm actually very bruised also, by the way. I got cleated.
Avi, you were working really hard. Yeah.
No, I got cleated, and then Yisrael Wasser ran me over.
It's a beautiful trophy. Wait, Zinn, I can't see it.
Thank God I have a lot of trophies,
There we go.
so we'll have to sort one of those out,
How does this stack up in terms of your trophies?
That's what I was going to ask. I want to go through everyone, actually.
This is definitely up there. With like
up there. It's
I have
avoiding
my Ben Salem one. That's usually one. I have my MVP trophy from high school, and then this is definitely up there.
What's the best? It's okay not to say this one. I'm curious. I'm genuinely curious. I want to go.
I would say this is my number 2. My high school MVP trophy meant a lot to me then, because I was very underrated in high school. Nobody knew who I was. And one season kind of just brought it out. That's the one right there. That's the one. That's my most.
What sport was that in?
Football.
Sruli.
Yeah.
This was my number 2 for sure.
Because this is your first tournament,
guys.
First tournament, so it was definitely special. It was definitely different because it's not like you grind through a whole season and you're playing a couple months, but it was definitely really cool to win. I still go back to my first ever championship because at that point I think I was playing 5 years. You're you don't know if you're ever gonna win one, and then this was before the Zinn days and our real good teams. We were still scrapping together a really good team, and we just had a great season. We beat your boy Charlie in the championship that year. And it was just the feeling of winning your first championship is nothing like it. Now we thankfully we rattle off a bunch, but getting that first was
Sruli's getting a little cocky over there after his big throw yesterday.
All right,
Sholom.
Dave, he went to his boss today and asked for a raise.
Sholom, what about
No,
you?
I told him I'm getting a raise.
Sholom, how does this line up?
How does this line up? So I gotta agree with Sruli. The first one is always pretty great. The one from last year where we went undefeated, that's up there. Going undefeated in a drafted league feels pretty good. Listen, it was a great day. I mean, it's like ranking your kids. Like how do you put a price on it? So they're all awesome. Obviously, winning is awesome, and we get to talk the talk now for a year until the next one.
And to be honest, you guys, similar to me and RSK, you guys always get to talk the talk because you will forever be the first ever Gridiron Gauntlet champions. And there's something to that, and I can tell it to you personally. Whenever you do something for the first time, there's always something that sticks extra when it's done for the first time. Maybe I'm just biased because I haven't won since, but when you do something for the first time and win the championship, I think it's something special. It'll always stick, even if Ellie Siegel goes and wins the next 5 years. You'll still at least you still have the first year. Although
we need some fuel for next year.
Kiffle did tell me coming back that you guys should watch out next year. They had a very off tournament.
Listen,
and you guys should watch
you
it.
I've spoken to the Muncie team. They're ready. They're going to stack up more for next year. The Lakewood guys felt they're missing Shook and Hach. They're going to get them. The TC Maracas team, they felt they're missing one of their corners and a receiver got injured last second. They're going to stack up more. I'm sure Schulman's would want to be back. The Svarty guys, my team, everyone's going to, heal their injuries and gather the troops and try to take your title. We'll see what happens.
We're already getting disrespected.
We're ready.
Next year. We're getting disrespected.
It starts there already, yeah, for sure.
I still can't believe. I still feel like I'm dreaming because of how that ended. That literally could not have been more perfect.
Unbelievable.
All right, guys. Well, it's a real pleasure having you on. Thanks for taking the time in the middle of a work day. I now know what it takes to get Zinn on a podcast, which is winning a championship at the last second. So we're rooting for more of those so we could have. It would be good if we could get you on alone for a while. He's sort of you don't show that much. It's hard to get you to talk. So it's a real pleasure, Sruli. Congrats, and Sholom,
Thank you.
congrats also. And hopefully we'll do it again soon.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys. It was an awesome year one. We also want to thank all of our sponsors again before we tune off. Thank you for making this tournament happen, and thank you to our Davidowitz and Cherry Hill as well for partnering up with us. We really appreciate you. And overall, it's an amazing day, and thank you guys for making it happen. We'll be back for year 2.
And especially to the king of football, Jonathan Lohinger, who made it all happen.
That's a given.
March 22nd, boys. Write it in.
Wait, is that a date? Is that set already?
Is that also the week before Pesach next year?
It's a little bit earlier before Pesach. It's like 10 days to Pesach instead of 6.
Perfect.
This time we'll be certain of the amount of people. Maybe there'll be more families coming, but that's a little earlier in the year. Also, might be a little colder.
All right, fellas.
All right, thanks everybody.
Thank you.
Guys, I stopped it